stress less, and the subtopic for today is identifying your stressors. So, as you guys know, when we do you sit down, sit down. As you guys know, when we do the lot, um, uh, we were doing it, and I picked out my slip, and I was just like, stress less. Like, I don't think I'm like that when I'm hit with like hard situations. I don't think that I stress out that much. I'm like, I think this one's not for me. So, um, I was like taking it calm, and as the year went on, I was just like, nothing in my life has happened to like make me stress out. So maybe something this year is gonna happen to me. And a couple weeks ago, God got me good. Um, so yeah, today's subtopic is uh, stress less. I think I didn't turn this TV on. Thank you. So, as you guys know, you were here, Myra. You came late, but on Saturday, me tocaba to bring the word, and while I was preparing for it, it was kind of going hand in hand with this topic, these themes about stress less, identifying your stressors, stop the stress speak, and the case for laughter. And while I was preparing for my message last week, I was like going through it all, and I was just like, I feel like as the month goes on, I'm maybe gonna repeat some things just because it's what I've been going through, and it's like everything goes hand in hand. Um, so while I was reading the chapter in the book, it was like 2 pages for this one section, and while I was reading it, I finished, and I was just like, how am I gonna turn this into like a 15-minute or 20-minute teaching and bring it as a word? Because the author, she was mainly she didn't really use any like biblical stories or any Bible verses. She was mainly talking about her own personal experiences and what she did, and she gave a couple steps on what to do while you're going through stresses. So if we can go to the next 2 slides, yeah, one more. So she talks and breaks it down that there are 2 types of stressors. There are major ones and there are minor ones. So the major ones, they're any pressures in your life which have big influences or carry a heavy toll. And then those can also be separated into like further categories into stressors that are major stressors, things that you can influence and things that are outside of your control. And then there are also the minor stressors, and those are stressors that are caused by your own thinking and attitudes. So the way I see it, it can be like frustrations, like pet peeves, just um, any small thing that can cause you to, that's not intended to be stressful, but it ends up being that case. For example, many of you know that camera that we have right there. I always struggle so much trying to take out the battery with it because you have to get a keychain and you have to like poke it in and then like you have to do this whole thing. And something like so small and simple like that doesn't seem like it should be that much of a problem. But the longer I stay there and the longer I try to do it, it just gets so stressed out, and I just end up leaving it for the next person to take it out. Um, Another one is that I found out, or that I realized yesterday, was when you're cleaning the lens of your glasses, you get the little microfiber cloth and you're cleaning like all the smudges out. But while you're holding like your glasses a certain way, maybe like your finger touches the lens and you notice it and you're like, oh, I gotta clean it again. And you keep going and going and like getting all the smudges out, but you just keep creating more. So that's like another like minor stressor. And one of my major stressors that I went through the past 3 weeks was actually self-induced. So amid all the problems and all the overwhelmness I was feeling, in my trying to find something, an activity to cope with all of that and escape, I actually ended up stressing myself even more. So the thing that I tried to do was actually go to work. I was like, oh, I'm going through all of this stuff right now. I want to find something to get my mind off of things and to just put my body to work so I could just, not worry about everything else that's going on. And while I was doing this, I wanted to go to work more and I was actually given what I wanted to. One of my coworkers got COVID. Two of my coworkers went on vacation without telling anyone. One of the guys, one of another cook, was working on a Sunday, and then like midday, he just decided to go and quit. So we were like really, really short-staffed, and I ended up working, I think, 6 days a week for like 2 weeks. And I ended up missing church, which I didn't like. I ended up missing school, which I also didn't like. And just doing all of that just made me like stress out even more, apart from everything that I was already going through. And usually when I get stressed out, or like when something's worrying me or troubling me, I tend to not eat. And for the past like 2 weeks, well, I've been thankfully like eating better now, 3 meals a day. But when I was going through all of that, I was only eating once a day. So I was eating once a day, getting physically weak. I wasn't able to sleep that well, and I was working 6 days a week. So all in my trying to distract myself and to find an escape, I was actually making things worse. So one thought that I wrote down: before you go and do some activity to cope with your stress, analyze it for what it is and ask yourself if it really is beneficial to you and the situation. And I also put, distractions are good and breaks are necessary, but we can't stay distracted forever, because being distracted isn't going to fix anything. It's not going to make the problem go away. So if we can go to the next slide. So the author included a couple steps on what you can do. Today's message is identifying your stressors, and there's really not that much to analyze about it. It really is just going through everything that's worrying you, stressing you out, anything that's bothering you, to just analyze it and identify it. So the first step is, the author says specifically to take 30 minutes of your day and to make a list of everything that's bothering you. Of course, 30 minutes is what she suggests, but the main goal is to start somewhere. We're all at different levels, and maybe we might start at 10 minutes, maybe we might go on for an hour. But just the important thing to do is that we start and we take time to pray, and we make this list. We put all of our major stressors, all of our minor stressors. We could literally put the biggest problem and like just small things. Oh, maybe my coworker bugged me today. Maybe I met a customer that flipped me off or like cussed me out or something. You just put everything that's going on with you, and you just write it in a list. And what you should do is, once you have that list, you look at everything and you pray about each thing individually. And while you're praying, the main thing to do is to ask God what He wants you to do in the situation. Yes, we ask for peace, we ask for strength, but also obviously we want this situation to be resolved. And we just ask God how He wants us to come about it. If He wants us to do something, or maybe He just wants us to hang on a little longer, and then He'll take care of it, which usually ends up being the case. So in this time, we also have to be completely honest with ourselves and not deny any issues that are causing us stress. In my case, I kept telling myself, I'm fine, I'm just going to work. It's like whatever's going on, it's not a big deal, and I just kept telling myself that I was fine. But obviously I wasn't, because I was only eating once a day. I was physically exhausted, and my coworkers would tell me too. They would say like, "Are you sick or something? Because you look like you're walking around kind of exhausted and pale." And I was just like, I'm fine. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep last night. And so like I kind of mentioned on Saturday about continuously praying, God wants us to come to Him with all of our stress, with all of our problems. He wants us to come to Him, talk to Him every single day, and to build our relationship with Him. Because the more faith and more trust we have in Him, the better we are, the better equipped we're going to be to live, to go on about life, and to deal with any hardships that come our way. So one other thing, another step that we can do is to speak to a trusted friend or a mentor. I remember earlier this year when we were doing the discipleship for the board, there was a message Rick Warren did about traumatic experiences. And he said, when you're able to talk about these experiences to someone, the moment you open your mouth and you open yourself, make yourself vulnerable to another person, that traumatic experiences loses power over you because it shows that you're able to speak about it, that it doesn't have you chained down anymore. And then obviously, don't just speak to anyone. Speak to a trusted friend. Speak to a mentor, someone that will not only hear you out, but someone that could also give you wisdom and can guide you on the right path. Yeah, so just one thought that I put about that was that as soon as you speak about it to someone, it instantly loses power over you because it no longer is locked inside of you, destroying you. So yeah, find a trusted friend, find a mentor, but also you can find a support group, people that you can rely on, people that will always have your back. So if we go to the next slide as well, this is one verse that I wanted to include, and it's Psalms 55:22. So it says, "Give your burdens to the Lord, and He will take care of you. He will not permit the godly to slip and fall." So this just goes into what I've been saying, that when we identify our stressors, when we identify what's going on with ourselves and everything that's bothering us, we come to God and we just bring it to Him. The list is a physical way of doing what this Bible verse says. We have the list, it's something to look at, and we just remind ourselves, okay, this is what I'm going to pray about, and we just come to the Lord and we speak with Him intimately. And the goal is to come to God with all of our worries and with that list that we have. And the goal is that each day you come to God and each day you pray to Him. The goal is that eventually you cross those things off your list, and the list it starts off as a full page and it just shrinks down and shrinks down and shrinks down. So that's the goal, is just to continuously pray to God, ask Him for help, ask Him for wisdom and discernment in the situations you're going through, and that we just trust in Him, because at the end of the day, God wants the best for us, and it may not be what we like, it may not be what we want at the moment, but it's for our best. It's for our own good, and eventually, as time goes on, we're gonna see, or maybe we might not even see the purpose behind it all, but we will see that that situation that God put us through at that time, we'll see why we went through that. Maybe it's to prepare us for something. Maybe it's to give us a characteristic, or to teach us something, to correct us on something, or to protect us from a danger. Or we can use that experience, that traumatic experience that we went through, to help someone else. And that usually is the case, where we're able to speak about our past experiences and come to someone that we see struggling with the same things. We just come to them as a mentor, come to them as a friend, and we're able to help them out, pray for them, and we end up walking together. What we do, or when we're going through the traumatic experience, we find a mentor, we walk with them, and they help us, they give us wisdom, and they guide us. And then as time goes on, we end up becoming the mentor to someone else that might be going through a similar situation. So yeah, that's all I had for today, because the theme. Yeah, I was reading the chapter, and I was like, I'm not sure how I'm really going to turn this into a preaching, because the author was mainly talking about her own past experiences. So then I thought to myself, I'll include and incorporate some of what I was talking about on Saturday. And really, the first step into stressing less is to identify what we're going through in our lives, what situations are causing us trouble. Basically, what's really affecting us, and to bring all those issues, be honest with ourselves, and to come to God with all of it, and to just turn it all over to Him, because He wants the best for us, and we just have to trust in Him that everything's going to be all right in the end. So I'm not sure if Brother Jonathan or anyone else has to say, but that's all I have for you guys tonight.